Hey you! Do you enjoy these Backstreet Boys? What about this 98-degree band? Or Hanson and Gretel? If any of those appeal to you, brace yourself. We're about to get in sync with the mind. Boy bands. Hello everyone, I'm Chris, and welcome to this episode of The Heart of the Game. Today, we'll follow that little white rabbit as we hack into the matrix of your family and friends' subconscious world. Right up front, I want to say I've never seen a game that has produced such moments of raw wonder and elation as the mind has, especially with such simple rules and just a deck of numbered cards. So, let's take that red pill together, shall we? And see how deep the rabbit hole of the mind really goes. Oh my God. The overall concept of the mind is exceedingly simple. 2 to 4 players will be challenged as a team working cooperatively to play cards in ascending numerical order to the center of the table. No turns, just play the cards in the correct sequence. Thank you for watching this episode of The Heart of... Wait, there's more to it than that, right? Hold on, let me see that script. Okay, all right. Exceedingly simple, cooperative, ascending numerical order. Okay, I was right. It's right here. I just had to go to the next part.
Hey, you like this video? You should subscribe. Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. But of course, there's more to it than that. The twist of the mind, the crank of the cranium, if you will, is that none of the other players can say or allude to what cards they may have in their hand. Impossible, you say? Let's sync up. Now, depending on how many players you have, your game group will be confronted with anywhere from 8 to 12 levels of mind magic. Let's go through them together, shall we? You have your first out-of-body experience with a card game, bringing you to the realization that the you in the mirror is perfectly wonderful. You also found a flower. The freedom you find gives you the courage to pursue those 2 careers you've always dreamt of. A ballerina that simply glows on stage, and, of course, a real-life vegetable ninja, because fruit ninjas are overrated. By stage 5, you find yourself deeply in touch with everything and everyone around you. Music gives you a big-time rush. You've begun to see smells. And by this point, you're straight up astral projecting. Now, this is as far as the game challenges you to go at 4 players. But at 3 players, you continue on through level 9, where you realize you have telekinetic rabbit powers. And finally, at round 10, you've mastered those powers and completed the mind with 3 players. But if there are only 2 players, the game beckons you on to level 11, where you realize that everything you've ever done has only been seen or remembered in your brain. You are the mind, which leads you to the final level, in which you shed your useless rabbit carcass and become pure energy, having completed all 12 levels of a 2-player game of the mind. For each level of the mind, you'll give players a number of cards matching the level you're on. For example, level 1, everyone gets 1 card. Level 2, everyone gets 2 cards. These cards coming from a deck numbered 1 to 100. You'll also receive a number of these iridescent bunny cards. These cards represent your lives in the game, the amount of mistakes you can make before you lose. And a mistake in the mind is putting 1 card down out of order. For example, putting a 15 down before someone else puts their 10 down. And of course, what is a rabbit-themed game of mind synchronization without throwing stars? I'll explain these later. And it's at this point in the video that I want to offer an opportunity to those of you who own the mind but haven't yet played it, the chance to give the first 2 or 3 rounds a try before I explain how the game works. The instruction manual describes this wow factor you get when you simply play the game before revealing its secret. And I, for one, having experienced that moment firsthand, would never want to deprive you of it. So please, if you own the game and haven't played it, try the first few levels now. I'll miss you. We're good?
Yep, we're good.
All right.
Really went for it there, huh?
Went for what?
With the hot tamale. Kind of made a
mess?
Bigger mess. Bigger mess than I thought you would.
You know, every little thing I do just never seems enough for you. You got hot tamales. You know I'm feeling another craving right now.
No, don't you dare. Do not.
Welcome back. Now, for those of you who played the first few rounds of The Mind, please indulge me as I describe what you may have experienced to everyone else. Wonder, oneness, funxiety. You know, upon initial description, this game sounds nonsensical at best and maybe even impossible at worst. How on earth could you know when to play your cards if you don't know what cards the other players have? It sounds like you're going to be dealt cards and then just what? Wait? And you are exactly right. But that's the magic of The Mind. In this game, the wonder is found more in the pause than in the play. Let me show you. Put yourself here at the table with me. Each round begins by someone dealing you a card, which you take a peek at, and then put your hand in the center of the table to let everyone know you're ready. You take a look around the table, and everyone simultaneously removes their hands to signal that the round has begun. Now, you're looking at your 11, and you know it has to be played early, but exactly how early? You look to the player on your left, and you see someone cool as a cucumber, relaxed as a rutabaga, just resting easy like Sunday morning. Feeling real confident that they have a higher number than you, you glance to your right and see panic personified, eyes darting hither and thither, tongue having episodic bouts of Michael Jordan, and their posture like a wild cat, a lynx, or a serval perhaps, who has spotted its meal and is prepared to strike. Certainly, they have a lower number than you, maybe even the 1. So you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and then they go and they have a 24, and before you can say, oh, I had an 11, Captain Comfortable, Danny Do-Nothing to your left says, oh, I had a 27, and you're like, I swear by the moon and the stars in the sky. And it's at this critical juncture that the mind challenges you to dig deeper than what you can simply observe. It asks you to include what you know about the players around you. Let's try that example again, but this time we'll dive a little further into the psychology of this game.
You look at the player on your left and you see someone
cool as a cucumber, relaxed as a rutabaga, just resting easy like Sunday morning. But you also know that person. It's Cletus. They leave for work when they're supposed to be there. They don't read instructions on IKEA furniture. They don't honk at people who are stopped at green lights. They are chill AF. So, maybe their card wasn't as high as we have originally believed. Following that example, let's look to our right and again see the epitome of anxiety. But you know this player as well. It's Flatch. They call the doctor to remind them about an appointment. They apologize when other people sneeze. They stop at green lights just in case they're about to turn yellow. They are not chill AF. With all of this in mind, you decide to give it a beat and play your card first. And with one card played, that's too much for old Flatch, who plays their 24, leaving Cletus to smirkingly play their 27.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like your team has the right stuff. But as a final example, let's say you get yourself into one of these situations. You and your game group have been doing admirably for the first few rounds of the game, but you've reached a moment where you and another player both believe your card should go down next. Now, lucky for us, the designer gave us two options to deal with this common scenario. The first is limited, as you only get a few in the game, but it's cutting and exact. It's our old friend, the throwing star. This weapon against indecision just cuts like a blindfolded silverback with a sickle, removing the lowest card in every player's hand. And in doing so, it gives really valuable information as to what all the players are holding. For example, let's say a throwing star was used and I revealed an 80 from my hand. It would let all the players know I don't have a card lower than this and I won't be playing for a while, lowering the stress at the table. At least temporarily. Now, while the throwing star is limited, the second option can be used as many times as necessary. And in stark contrast to the cutting throwing star, it's gentle. It's more amorphous than exact, and it's what makes the mind the mind. The second option is that you can always refocus. At any time, one of the players can say,
Stop! Stop, stop! Stop! Stop!
At that time, everyone puts their hand toward the center of the table. I often do a 3, 2, 1 countdown and then a group breath in and out, and then everyone removes their hand from the table. I cannot overstate how useful, how critical this refocusing can be. And you know, what a unique and honestly beautiful moment to create in the midst of a tense and riveting game. Everybody around the table sees those 2, sometimes 3 cards come out of the player's hands all at once and start to slide toward the middle of the table. The tension in the room rises, the collective pulse of the group quickens, and all the players are trying to make eye contact with everyone and no one simultaneously. And you begin to feel that you're 2 worlds apart, and you can't reach to their heart. You believe that your card should go down next, and you think to yourself, I want it that way. But it ain't nothing but a heartache. And it's at this very moment that the mind arrives with a reminder to breathe, to remember that you're all in this moment together, and to reset to a place of calm where the correct card might just reveal itself. And you know, for the life of me, I cannot think of another game that encourages connection with people so much so that they put a moment of refocus, of reconnection into the actual rules sheet itself. If you are looking for a unique game for 2, 3, or 4 players that will challenge you to think as a group and create moments of connection, dare I say, kismet, the mind is an absolute must. Whether you're new to the hobby or you've been around it for a while and just need to shake out the cobwebs of the familiar, give the mind the opportunity to show you what experiences lie in the pauses between the play. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Heart of the Game. Until next time, I'm Lance Bass. Goodbye, bye, bye. With all of this in mind, you decide to give it a beat. No, sorry. I cannot do it. Okay.
Stop!
Is that good? But you know this player as well. It's fee. Oh my god, I almost said it. Ooh, I can't say that. You'll give every player a number of cards based on how good you are at videos. And right now I'd receive no cards.